Now that being said, I want to touch on why the N words is a thing, right? Like why it's such a hot button topic. Because
We have to refer to as the N word. You're referring to as the N word, and you're black. Like
yeah, yeah,
there's
yeah.
like
Yeah, well, there's also something I want to touch on as to why I do that. Um, so the thing I wanted to say is that when articles like this come out about white people using the N word, there's a thing that came out some time ago about Viggo Mortensen using it in an interview while he was sitting next to Mahershala Ali talking about Green Book, and he got into a lot of trouble without skipping a beat. Every time a white person there's an article about him using the N word. You have white people in the comments saying, well, they say it in rap music all the time. Or how come you can say it and I can't? Or this and that. The thing about the N word, and there's a really great video clip featuring Ta-Nehisi Coates. He's an author. He also penned a couple of Black Panther comics, Marvel's Black Panther,
yeah,
in which he explains um, that there are certain words that aren't meant for you.
yeah,
Like he doesn't go to like he and his wife and her friends might call each other bitch. Hey, what up, bitch?
yeah,
You know, but he wouldn't go to his wife's friends and be like, hey, what up, bitch? Like he knows that it's not for him, right? It's like certain gay people may call each other the F word in a term of endearment, but he's not going to go around and do it,
yeah.
right?
And honestly, you know what? I could. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I want to point out the fact that is white people. You know who decides who can say that word? The individual black person that's standing in front of you.
Yeah.
Right? Because I grew up around black people. I have friends who've given me the quote, the pass
Mm-hmm.
to be able to say it, but with them.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying the hard ER. I'm saying the GA. And honestly, I've even pulled back on that just because I'm at the same time. I'm like, I can't. It's like I don't want this word to be said by my kids. Like even though they'll, you know what I mean. But it's the white people. You have no like more Pierce. Damn, what's his name? Patrice O'Neill said it. Just shut up about race things. Like just like don't talk about them because you don't have a wind or I'm trying to think of a damn. You don't have
you don't have a
voice in
perspective
that
or
argument sometimes.
One thing I wanted to add to finish on what Ta-Nehisi Coates is saying was that these other groups, right? Like women being able to call their friends bitch, or gay people being able to use the F word on each other, or all that stuff. It's understood by societal standards that they can do that because it's a woman to woman, gay person to gay person. But why is it so hard for society, for a lot of white people in society, to give black people that same benefit?
Yeah.
That without being like, well, why can't I say it? It's like it seems like it's always black people that never get that pass to just be like, okay, hey, we know you want your own thing, so we'll give it to you, right? When I heard that thing, and I'll send it to you. I'll actually put it in the description because I think it's important for everyone to listen to. That gave me like a really good perspective on it. I personally, I say when I'm rapping and all that stuff, like rapping lyrics and all that stuff. I might say it around my brother every now and then, but I actually try not to say it as much as possible because I also understand that while I am a black person, and while black people probably won't think twice about me saying it, it's not my lived experience. It's not my parents' lived experience. It's not my grandparents' lived experience. I am an immigrant. I am not a descendant of slaves. I'm not a descendant of the people that were called that word to
Dehumanize.
dehumanize them. I don't know why I was struggling with that word. My ancestors weren't considered 3/5 of a human being. So for me, I remember early on when I came to this country, and I actually did hear white friends of mine say it. I wasn't triggered by it. I wasn't angry about it. I saw another black person get angry by it, and I was like, what's the big deal?
Yeah.
And it's only when you like really like pay attention and you start listening to these stories and things, then you start understanding why it is such a big deal.
Yeah.
And me just even being attached to it adjacently, I start to feel some kind of way about it. So anyway, I try to limit how much I say. I'm really glad that he apologized. I think that's the exact right thing to do. We can then say, oh, was his apology sincere and all that stuff. That part is subjective. But the objective thing is he came out and he said sorry.
Yeah.
And that's what more people need to learn how to do.
And real quick, going back to what you said about the whole experience, right? I grew up around that word, right? I grew up with a bunch of black friends. I grew up in a neighborhood that was black and Hispanic. And if I were to say that word to somebody, first of all, I'm not going to say that word to just any person, right? You have to have that type of the kinship, because one, when they look at me, they don't know. Not everyone knows that I grew up with. I've had like ones where like, I'm down in with one of my friends in Augusta. We're just saying that word like it's not a big deal because he's black and he's like, saying it to me like, saying me, hey, you're stupid, and we're just, and then my wife, like, there was one of his friends that was there, and the guy was like, because my wife was kind of like, hey, he's not, and then he was like, no, it's cool. I get it. I get with him. He's like, I could look, I'd be around him enough to know that, he grew up, but I'm not going to test that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because that'd be dumb for me to test that. Yeah. I'm not gonna, when it was 3 of us, M16, Easy, myself, we were on here. I'm not gonna start saying that word. Even if they were to say that to each other, I'm not gonna say it, because the thing is though, I don't have that past in the whole entire world. Yeah. Maybe among my friends I do. And also the one thing that is, maybe he didn't sound like he was being vindictive with it. You know what I mean? Like he was like using it in the negative connotation of looking down, meaning somebody. But once he said it, it's kind of like, did you ever see Boston Public?
I know the show, but
so in Boston Public, they had that show, and it was Michael Rappaport who talked about it. And the thing that started it off was it was a Hispanic guy and a black guy, and they were just saying that word like whatever. And then one black guy got upset and was almost getting a fight with the two of them, not just the Hispanic guy. He was about to get in a fight with the both of them. And because it was the whole talking about that word. And so Michael Rappaport's character was talking about, he was like, yeah, but what if I say blah, blah, blah. And then it's like somebody says like, look, I don't think you're racist, but when you said that word, I didn't feel right. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, don't say it. Yeah. And if you're white, don't say it at all.
The other thing,
there's Hispanics in New York who everybody thinks is black who say it like, it's like,
oh yeah, like Fat Joe. Fat Joe says it in his rap all the time. The other thing that it made me think about is that there is a sense of white privilege when it comes to that. I'm sorry to say it, but there are a lot of things that people of every race understand that maybe I shouldn't do. Like as a black person, I know that I can't go into a police station and be like, "What up, bitches?" or something like that. I can't just do that, because in the back of my head I'm like, maybe something could happen to me, right? I know that as a non-police officer and as a regular citizen, I shouldn't do that. I think most other races know that. White people are probably the only people who would probably want to test that, even though they've been told not to. And it's because they've been conditioned their entire life to feel like they're entitled to every single thing.
That makes sense.
The moment you tell them that they're not entitled to something, it's like, what do you mean?
It's kind of like, so my friend and I, he, what's it called? So he's my best friend, and we always talk about watching a movie. And then instead of calling me his guinea pig, he tells me, be my beaner pig. Beaner, right? Mexican is the Mexican. Mm-hmm. Him saying that to me, I don't get offended, because I know that the joke that is among us, right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Like today, I might call my son, be like, why don't you speak Spanish? I was like, my little beaner, But I'm not calling my son that the same way if somebody else said that. You know what I mean? Like if somebody said that to me, I would want to fight him. because I'm like, first of all, you don't have that relationship. And that's what it is, right?
That's
It's the
thing,
relationship with that word.
That's exactly what Ta-Nehisi Coates said too. It's like there's a relationship. The context matters. People know that you have this relationship with this person or with this community. That's the context.
And it's kind of like you said, the relationship, right? On this podcast, I'm not going to be saying that word because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people on there like have their ears are a little perked listening to this saying, well, he's saying that he says it. I was like, yeah, but I got the relationship with the people that I'm saying. I'm not calling every, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying all these here, you know, I can't say that because then I'm saying it in the negative way.
Yeah.
But if I'm saying it to my best friend, I'm saying it's like him calling me his brother, him calling me, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But look, white people, just don't say it. Like, just, I mean, don't say it. Like, even in private.
The easiest thing to do is to just not say it.
Just don't say it.
Even if I tell you, even if I tell you,
and I found out that most of my friends growing up, a lot of them have stopped saying it. Like, they just slowly stopped saying it. It's one of those words that you just realize maybe it's not a word that I need to use.
So even if I tell you that you can say it, don't say it. And then the other thing I do want to add, and we end up talking about this longer than I thought we would. Other thing I do want to add is that it's very condescending when you try to tell other people, when you try to tell other Black people that they shouldn't say it too. When you basically like, well, I think no one should say it. It goes back to the whole thing. It's like, well, if I can't do it, then you shouldn't be able to do it. Nah, it just means you can't do it. Yeah. There are certain things that you are not allowed to do that other people.
You want another response to that? Affirmative action is a bitch. Get over it.
Right. Yeah, there's certain things that other people are allowed to do that you aren't allowed to do. I know it's not a normal thing for you to be restricted, but it happens. All right, we went
we went a little too long and also started sweating during this conversation. So
yeah, but Morgan Whalen, I give you kudos for apologizing. I hope you meant it. All right.